This is Stephen McGuire and Creek T.V. We're at the Stonebridge location. Beautiful facility, look at this. He's meant to be at work, so he won't be in the shot. Anyway, and he said to me he doesn't talk too much. Really? Look at this. Okay? So I was clearly doing all the talking, right? Anyway. So, first of all, Lisa Moen.
Hello.
How are you doing?
You know what? I feel fantastic because I just had literally the best meal I think I've had in a long time. Cutting that salad and all, it was fantastic.
Awesome.
I am content.
You're content?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well,
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And the thing is, I'm going to drill you with questions right now because you're a person who is just a ray of sunshine, comes in, does an awesome job and leaves. So I've never really had the chance to sit down and have a chat with you properly.
No. We're always kind of like this in passing.
Like ships in the night.
Yeah, I'll take it. But
who's had the most impact on your life?
Who has had the most impact in my life? Musically or just in general?
In general.
You know what? Probably my mom and dad.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have a very good support system. My mom and dad are a solid team. They are just the epitome of love. They still hold hands. They still do fabulous things for each other. And musically, I was raised in a country music family. So I think that was a huge, huge, huge influence for me growing up and that kind of thing. But just being surrounded by unconditional love and such a good support system.
Talk to me about your father in music. Was it your father had a band?
Yeah. My dad and his brothers growing up put together bands. I think my mom and dad met when my dad was 14 years old. He was playing drums in a band, and they traveled all over Saskatchewan. Their band was called the Myro Brothers, and they just made music. And I remember as a kid going to the gigs and sitting behind the big JBL speakers, my brother and I sitting on a little blanket behind because we were too young to get in there. They snuck us in, and just listening and watching my dad. And even as a small child, I remember like 6 or 7 years old, just thinking that is the coolest thing in the world. I thought my dad was an absolute rock star. And I just remember musically their harmonies and their natural ability to entertain a crowd was, even at that time in my life, I knew that was such a beautiful gift that they had. And I still think that they're in their 50s, 60s now, and I still think that every time they get on stage, they don't see each other throughout the year, they don't practice, they get together and it's absolutely polished and natural like it was 40 years ago. So I think
awesome.
that had such a huge influence on me, and they were very popular and very busy in maybe the late 90s. So I remember my dad going out and gigging, and yeah, I just thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Do you remember the first song you wrote?
The first song? Oh gosh, I remember probably the first 2 songs I wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah. The very first song I wrote, the second song I wrote was called All I Ask of You, and actually we do it in our act. I did it at
Cool.
the Crisis Nursery gig last week, and it was talking all about my mom, actually me singing at the United Church in Outlook, Saskatchewan, where I'm from. Like some of us artists, we started in church choirs, so I'm up there at the front of the church in my choir cloak that's like 1,000,000 miles too long because I'm literally 6 years old. And I remember singing my song and going and sitting down beside my mom on the church pew. And my mom kind of turned to me and said, you know what? She's like, this is your destiny. You can sing.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I wrote a song about it. It's called All I Ask of You, and it's kind of about making your destiny come true and remembering that memory of my mom telling me that. So
Is that on any of your recordings?
not yet, but it's fully recorded, ready to rock, and I will probably be releasing it this summer.
Awesome. We'll
Yes.
talk about your new release later on.
Sure.
But the thing is, you're on the road a lot,
Yes.
okay? And have you any stories from the road that will end up in songs? Like I know we talked a wee bit off camera, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what
right?
you're saying. You know what? We always have a good time on the road. I have guys in my band, obviously. My dad is in my band, so we don't get too crazy. I got my dad there beside me, keeping an eye on stuff. But he's just as crazy as they are. We always have fun, and we always have some good conversations and stuff. So you never know. Some of those crazy conversations might very well end up in a song. But we have written some songs on the road, driving by certain things or things that trigger a good hook to a song. And so actually before Sundown, which is my next release, we did write a little bit of that song actually on the road, coming home from Sheho, Saskatchewan, if you guys know where that is, by Foam Lake. So yeah.